So welcome and to everyone. This is the year of the Water Tiger reception. And sadly, we have to host it again virtually this year. But we did see many of you, our UDO family and supporters, during our thank you reception that we had back in October. So I hope this finds you and your family safe and healthy and in good spirits. But again, another year we had filled with anxiety. We had hopeful vaccines and boosters, but the new variants remain, and we have to be vigilant about that. And also, obviously, the perils of still increasing number of anti-Asian hate crimes. Our thoughts continue to be with Michelle Go and Yao Pan Ma's families, but we are resilient, and we are anticipating the year of the water tiger to add tenacity and strength and wishes for good health and prosperity to our community, our families for the year ahead. And so we have, again, a great hour. So let me kick off with greeting someone who needs no introduction, although she now adds another title to her name. She's the matriarch of this organization and certainly of our community, political community. She's taught many of us. As a teacher, she continues to guide, mentor, and support us throughout. And we're just inspired by her every single day. So without further ado, Mrs. Virginia Key.
Hi, everybody. Yes, it's me, Virginia Key. Thank you so much for being with us. It's wonderful to see you and to be able to greet the new year with you. It is the year of the tiger, and we, UDO, led by women of color, will have tiger strength to fight for our community. We wish you all good health and happiness in the new year. Kum hei fa choi. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Key. Now, I just want to introduce my political sister. We are so blessed to have her leading us in the UDO family. Without Jenny, I really don't know where we would be. We would not have, certainly many of us, thousands of us, would have not gotten our first doses of life-saving vaccine. Jenny was diligent on phones, connecting seniors to appointments, and she drove in the middle of the night, early hours of the day, to make sure our seniors got the vaccines. And her compassion and commitment to serve our community is beyond extraordinary. So she is our state committee person, but she is also, she's also up for re-election this year. So we'll be working hard to re-elect Jenny as our state committee person. But she is also our New York County Elections Commissioner. So without further ado, welcome Jenny Lowe.
Well, thank you, Chung. Thank you for that more than generous introduction. I think I appreciate everyone coming to support UDO. It is a club that is inclusive, and we are looking to support the best candidate and best elected official that will help our community through thick and thin. So
Dan, we can all hear you. We can all hear you, Dan.
Okay. Dan just mute himself. So I would like to introduce Justin Yu if he is on, but I'm not sure if he's on yet because I don't see him. So I am going to move along, and we will always make up for different our part of our agenda. So I would first like to introduce Denny Salas. Denny, as some of you may know, and I met on our campaign trail when we were running for city council last year. We became fast friends because his two little dogs are way too cute to visit. And so Denny has been working with UDO and taking a leadership role and helping UDO continue to support the neighbors in our community. And I'm gonna we have done turkey drives, meal delivery, and pantry food to neighbors who are in need. So Denny Salas.
All right, thank you, Jenny, really appreciate it. Just wanna thank the leadership at UDO with Mrs. Virginia Key, Jenny Lowe, Chung Cito, and Additionally, Matthew Lowe, I know he's here somewhere, but I think his screen's off. But it's been wonderful just being part of this organization, going out there to our communities and actually just being very helpful. It's, I piggyback by just watching some like the leaders that have been here for a while and just learning a lot from them. They're fantastic people, as you all know. And it's just wonderful just to watch them and learn from them. Now, I'll stop, and I think I will hand it off because I do believe that Justin Yu is on right now. So, Justin, I would love for you to take the floor.
Justin, are you on?
于主席换你了。
He should be. I did see him come in, or let him in. So let's see. All right, he may have. No, he's
Okay,
here.
we'll,
We'll move on.
we'll pick it up later.
All right, sounds good. What I will do then is we are
Let's get
very.
the Lieutenant Governor on.
Yep, absolutely. We're very grateful to have a number of elected officials. I know Senator Brad Hoyman joined us as well. But right now we do have a distinguished guest, and I would love to welcome Lieutenant Governor Brian Benjamin.
Thank you, Danny. Chung Cito, Jenny, I see Yulin New, Senator John Liu, Senator Holman. I mean, everyone's here. And Virginia Key, what an amazing sort of intro. Heard about you, but it's great to see you. I also want to welcome the Lunar New Year and help kick off the celebrations for the Year of the Tiger as well. This is an exciting time, and I'm glad to be here with all of you. I want to give a special shout out to Daisy Paez, Henry Lee, Tanya Castro Negron, and Winston Chu, the community leaders that are being honored here tonight for their incredible service to this community in delivering free, culturally appropriate, nutritious meals to seniors and families in Chinatown and the Lower East Side. Through their organization, they have provided over 1.5 million meals prepared by local restaurants, keeping local businesses running while supporting our seniors. Thank you for being champions for your community, and the stories like yours, they make me so proud to be a New Yorker. I was proud and have been proud and will continue to be proud to stand with all of you as we deal with the loss that COVID-19 is inflicting on all of our communities, the losses and the hurt to our small businesses, and the rise of anti-Asian hate crimes. And I see Carlin Chan here as well. A number of us have stood together in East Harlem and all over the city to stand up and fight against Asian hate crimes and to make sure that we have funding in the budget. $20 million that we have fought for that has been out there. And also, as you know, in this new budget, the governor is proposing another 20 million. So I'm excited to be a part of that conversation and want to make sure that we do everything we can to be of assistance. This budget is one that we want to help everyone involved in our communities. Small business owners who have been hurt, during the pandemic, we're providing $100 million in relief to small businesses and then $250 million in relief for COVID-related expenses, which we hope will help those who've been hurt so dramatically. And 2 months ago, we awarded $20 million in funding for Chinatown through the Downtown Revitalization Initiative to ensure an equitable recovery for this community. So we are doing everything we can to be of assistance. We've also invested $25 million into the Restaurant Resiliency Program to provide a boost to struggling restaurants. And so I don't want to take up too much of your time. Just know that Governor Kathy Hochul and I stand with you, stand with UDO, and anything that we can do to be of assistance to this community, we will be here. And I want to wish everyone a wonderful Lunar New Year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Benjamin.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here with us. I would like to introduce someone who really doesn't need any introduction in UDO or in our community. I would like to ask Congresswoman Nydia Velasquez, among the most senior members of Congress, but most importantly, she is chair of the Small Business Committee in the House, and we count on her for so much. So I would like to ask Congresswoman Nydia Velasquez to say a few words for us.
Thank you, Jenny, and good evening, everyone. It's just a real pleasure to be joining with you tonight, and to my fellow elected officials, community leaders, and most importantly, of course, our district leader, Justin Yu, President Emeritus Virginia Key, who paved the road for so many of us as a woman in leadership position across the country, and of course, the current President Choncito, and our special guests, State Senator John Liu and Public Advocate Jumani Williams. And I want to take this opportunity to really congratulate tonight's honorees, Daisy Pies, Henry Lee, Tanya Castro Negron, and Winston Chu. You know, your public service really exemplifies what New York City is all about. It's about taking care of our neighbors, especially those most vulnerable among us. And we have seen throughout the pandemic how many of you have been out there raining with during the summer, knocking on doors, bringing food for those who are food insecure, distributing information about vaccinations and everything else. So Chinatown is strong despite facing so many challenges, especially hate crimes. But we are all in this together. And I want for the Asian American community to know that as a Puerto Rican, as a Latina, as a brown person in New York City, I got your back because I know that we're stronger when we are all together. So thank you so much, UDO, for everything that you're doing, particularly providing the type of information and education to get Asian Americans to participate in electoral politics. Is more important today than ever before. God bless you all.
Thank you
you,
so very much,
Congresswoman.
Congresswoman. Thank you for continuing to fight for us in Washington, D.C. We really need you, and we're standing 100% behind you.
And let me just say, Jenny, that in Chinatown, small businesses and community-based organizations got $124 million out of the PPP. That is the legislation that I helped craft, but most importantly, negotiate the legislation that I helped in the negotiations before we passed it in the House and in the Senate.
We need more Nydia Velasquez in Congress, no matter what state they're in.
Thank you. Thank you, dear.
Next, I would like to ask our very own state senator, Senator John Liu, to say a few words of greeting.
I
And
just
we also
asked for one thing, Jenny.
gave him an assignment.
Don't let me go after La Luchadora, but of course, you put me in this position again, always, seriously. Anyway, I'm so honored to join my distinguished colleague, Brad Hoylman, and our former distinguished colleague who he left us to become lieutenant governor. The nerve, Brian Benjamin, and of course, I'm gonna call her my sister, not my granddaughter, who really is a force to be reckoned with in Albany and far beyond. It's great to see everybody here. Thank you, Mrs. Key, for starting this all. Thank you to my sisters, Chung and Jenny and Danny and everybody here. I want to say hello to everybody. And Colin, you got to be careful about those Chinese eye jokes, right? I'm just kidding, just kidding.
Hey, it's been a long day.
Anyway,
You've been
look,
watching too much Netflix.
you have such incredible honorees on the eve of the Year of the Tiger. I told Chung I want to introduce everybody, all the honorees. She said, no, you don't get to introduce everybody. You get to introduce just a couple of them. And not only do you get to introduce a couple of them, but you better stay on script, damn it, as opposed to ad-libbing my usual nonsense. So I get the honor of, I want to congratulate Daisy, of course, because Daisy, I wanted to introduce you, but blame it on Chung. She said, no, I can't. So I know you're going to get honored later, but my responsibility.
I wanted to introduce Daisy and I wasn't allowed to.
Thank you, guys. I love y'all just the same.
Congratulations, Daisy.
Thank
My
you.
official responsibilities tonight is to introduce two of our distinguished honorees, the first of which would be the fantabulous Tanya Castro Negron. Tanya, congratulations. She is a tenant leader of Land's End 2 and program director at Two Bridges Neighborhood Council. And when the pandemic hit, Tanya sprung into action alongside Jenny to find free meals and pantry items for the hundreds of seniors and families who reside in Land's End 2. But her work didn't stop at her building. Tanya teamed up with the Chinatown Lower East Side initiative that was put together by Chung Sito, Jenny Lowe, Teddy Moy, and Winston Chu to bring free, culturally appropriate, nutritious meals prepared by local restaurants to the neighborhood. And at the height of the pandemic, Tanya and her team of volunteers of older and young people were distributing and delivering door-to-door over 5,000 meals a day to residents. And once the meals are given out, Tanya and her team awaited the donated pantry boxes. Her care and commitment to her neighbors are exemplary. And what's more impressive is that Tanya continues to make sure that seniors and food insecure families get the help they need today. Rethink Food through the Chinatown Lower East Side initiative continues to distribute those 600 meals from Monday to Friday to Land's End residents and neighbors nearby. This is all what Tanya set up. And so this dedication and commitment is why Tanya Castro Negron is recognized and presented the Community Award by the United Democratic Organization. Tanya, I think you already got it. So can we see it?
See here. Well, I don't think she's here because I'm going to accept that award on her behalf. And she wrote a little something, so I would like to read it to everyone. It says, "My name is Tanya Castro." She just sent it to me. "And I apologize for not being with you all tonight. Family comes first, and that's why I serve from the heart, because my seniors and neighboring families are my priority. Thank you, Miss Virginia Keys." I must say, Virginia, she wrote it in big letters. "Chong Sito and Jenny Lowe, for this wonderful acknowledgement of my efforts, for all your support and love. Thank you to TBNC for believing in me and providing me the opportunity to serve. Thank you to Winston and Henry for going above and beyond to do more for the Two Bridges community." I didn't pay her to say this part. "Thank you, Daisy Pius, for being a phenomenal leader, a wonderful friend, and a great sister. I love you. And thank you to Matthew and Christopher Bayong from the PETA and Bayong firm for all your support to the community without the need for acknowledgement on so many different platforms. I accept this award on behalf of my senior angels and youth team who made all I do possible. And last but not least, first and foremost, to God be the glory in all that I am and have. Thank you again." So that's from my sister and dear friend, Tanya Castro.
Thank you, Daisy, for.
Hi.
Okay.
All right. As long as we don't hear a flushing toilet, that's good. And I have to say, I've heard my share of that. So
Who are you
that was
calling?
totally unnecessary. Yeah, all right, I'm sorry.
Oh, he's from Flushing, so what do you expect?
Whoa!
Keep going, John.
And then Chong's gonna say both my first and last name are slang, because in the UK, in London, people say, "Gotta go to the loo." I'm gonna stop it there.
Yes, please.
But yeah.
When.
It was a knee slapper.
Yeah, I know. By the way, I think I saw Brian Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Brian Kavanaugh is like, most of us, I'll be the first to admit, it's not so true of Brad, but I'll be the first to admit when there's something that's a more difficult issue, I will say, let's ask the staff. When there's a really difficult issue, the staff says, let's ask Brian Kavanaugh. This is the architect of our housing laws. He is the crafter of legislation far beyond what any of us in the body, except maybe for Brad Hoylman, can envision. And so good to see Senator Kavanaugh. And so my last and final duty is to introduce another award winner this year. That would be the awesome Winston Chu. Let's give it up for Winston. Winston Chu was the co-founder of Rethink Food and currently runs Feed Forward. He's devoted himself to feeding the hungry and fighting food insecurity in the city. The pandemic only strengthened his commitment as Winston saw restaurants and other small businesses shutter and food insecurity grow. In the early days of March in 2020, Winston, who grew up with family in Chinatown, saw that the city was giving out free cold sandwiches to seniors and families as the city's businesses were shutting down. He knew our elders were not going to keep eating cold sandwiches. And initially at Rethink Food, Winston raised money and found restaurants willing to stay open to prepare meals. Then he gave a call to Teddy Moy and Jenny Lowe and said, if I provided free meals provided by local restaurants, can you help distribute them? They said, of course, and pulled in Chung Sito, who found volunteers and community organizations willing to help. At the height of the pandemic, this team distributed over 10,000 meals per day to cover 21 locations in the Chinatown Lower East Side community. This extraordinary team has distributed more than 1.5 million free meals to our community alone. Now at Feed Forward, Winston is doing more to use technology to fight hunger. He's developed apps to match recipients online with restaurants offering meals of their choice. It reduces waste and adds dignity for food insecure recipients. And what's more impressive is, at least to me, is that Winston started out as an insurance actuary. I'm not going to explain what that means, but an insurance actuary. And Winston is just getting started, which is why UDO is proudly recognizing him with this community award. Yay, Winston.
Thank you, Senator John Liu. Much thanks to UDO, Virginia, Jenny, Chung for honoring me tonight, and the other honorees, Tanya, Daisy, Henry, and all the community members that's really helped put the last 2 years into perspective. It started out with a phone call to Teddy and Jenny in terms of just getting help, knowing that they have deep roots in Chinatown and that there was much need during that time, during the pandemic. I know that there was a lot of fear. There was a lot of frightening things happening to a lot of our seniors, and making sure that we are protecting our Asian community, but also our neighbors and brothers and sisters within Chinatown that is inclusive of also Black and Brown individuals and families. So this is an incredible award, and I won't be able to accept it without the help of all the people that are here, whether it's Yulene, Congresswoman Nydia, Justin Yu from CCBA, for helping put together all the efforts and really guiding me through the past 2 years of how to really serve and putting my heart first. So without their efforts and without their guidance, I wouldn't be here today. So thank you very much. And happy Lunar New Year. Hopefully we're all going to have a prosperous year.
Well, thank you, Senator Liu, and thank you, Winston and Daisy, on behalf of Tanya Castro Negron. Next, I would like to move the program along, and I know we have many elected officials joining us. So next, I would like to ask our public advocate, Jumani Williams, to come and say a few words of greeting. The public advocate and I have one thing in common. Besides both working for the city, is that we are both proud graduates of Brooklyn Tech High School. And there are quite a few of Brooklyn Tech graduates on the Zoom, including Chester Lee. So, how, that is like the best high school on the planet. So I don't want to take away any more time. So I would like to ask Mr. Public Advocate, please welcome to UDO, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. I can sing the alma mater tag, alma mater, noble and true. I can want to go. The whole thing, if you want. I was actually in the chorus, so I was forced to learn the whole alma mater. But thank you so much, Jenny. Peace and blessings, love and light to everyone that's here. Zen Nin Kwaila, hope I said that correct. And Gong He Fat Choi, Happy New Year. I know it's the year of a tiger. I'm proud to be born in the year of the dragon, but I know it's the year of the tiger now. Thank you, Chuck Sito and Jenny and Justin and all the honorees. Of course, everybody wanted to introduce Daisy, but Daisy, Henry, Tanya, Winston. It's always great to be honoring people. You know, unlike myself and some of my colleagues here who get paid, people are getting honored for the time they gave, whether they were paid or not in the community. It's always an awesome thing. I don't remember all of my colleagues who were here, but I know Congresswoman Nydia Velasquez is here. I know John Liu is here. I see Brad Hoylman and Brian Kavanaugh, and of course, Assembly Member Yulene New and our Lieutenant Governor was here. I can't see the whole thing, so I apologize. Please still feel free to support me, even if I forgot to mention you. I deeply apologize. I know folks know I have some bigger dreams ahead, but I'm here as the public advocate and proud to be here, and I'm proud to have received support from UDO when I ran in 2019 for the public advocate. And I also know we're celebrating, which we should, but I also know there's some tough times in this city right now, and everybody knows we have to stand together to move past it. We're resilient, but that doesn't mean we don't feel the pain when it's happening. I do want to thank some folks, even on this call 2 years ago, that were out there saying Black Lives Matter at a time when there was a lot going on. And we know that our Asian community has seen a rise in hate crimes that are just senseless. And so I try to make sure I stand with you every time this goes on and we stand together. But we have to do more than stand together. We got to get the funding into the right places. We have to get the elected officials getting real serious about attacking this problem at the root. And I believe that can be done with my colleagues in government who are on this call and with the community who are on this call. It's frustrating at times, but again, we're all New Yorkers, and I know we'll make this through, and we'll stand this together because communities are coming out. We have to come out. Well, it's not just our community; it's for somebody else's, and so I'm proud of that work. But I know we're celebrating today. The budget is coming in both the city and the state. I was happy to stand when people were saying that long before the pandemic, by the way, that the Asian community was not getting their fair share in government resources. Some of that has changed. Too bad a lot of it has not. And I want to make sure the communities no longer feels marginalized. Even when they talked about the SHSAT, I was shocked at how we talked about it without even having the respect I think that was needed at a time for communities that would have felt aggrieved. And so we've got to make sure it doesn't happen anymore. Even as we celebrate, I stand with you on all of those issues. So thank you so much. We celebrate tonight and we go back to the struggle tomorrow. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Peace and blessing, love and light to you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mani. Good to hear from you. So I would like to now introduce and ask Justin Yu, our district leader from UDO, to say a few words. I know he was very busy. He's a man with many titles, but today he is the district leader for UDO. So Justin, please say a few words of greetings.
Thank you very much. I'm so proud to be a member of UDO. So welcome everyone to join the UDO celebration for Chinese New Year. The new year will be the year of a tiger. I hope everyone will be strong as tiger. And first, I'd like to use the opportunity to congratulate our distinguished recipients, Daisy, Henry, Tanya, and Winston. I had the privilege of working with them for the past 2 years. I know the good work will continue, and the best wishes for everyone. Happy New Year. And the CCBA will host the New Year celebration. I wish everybody would join me on the February the 1st, 11:30 at 62 Mile Street, CCBA, to celebrate the New Year's to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Justin.
Thank you. And now we are going to have a real treat. I just want to introduce, based in New York City, South Korean violinist Catherine Gu Kyun Lim. It's a co-founder of the Moving Orchestra and Impromptuo, both groups focusing on improvisation in many different art forms. Catherine has been presented by acclaimed organizations such as House of Yes, Les Poissons Rouges, Metropolis Ensemble, and International Contemporary Ensemble. In addition to performing, Catherine is a loving teacher to 22 young violinists at Opus 118 Harlem School of Music and at New Amsterdam School. She holds a bachelor's and master's degree from the Juilliard School and is currently a Doctor of Musical Arts candidate at Rutgers University Mason Gross School of the Arts. So without further ado, Catherine, please. May I just start by... Thank you, Catherine. I want to say that this was a movement from Bach Solo Violin Sonata, and we'll hear back from Catherine later on. So I want to give it back to Jenny.
Well, thank you, Chang. I would like to continue with introducing our elected officials who represent us. I've seen Senator Brian Kavanaugh on. I may not, he may not be here on my part, but I know he's on. So Senator Brian Kavanaugh, who represents our district, we are in Lower Manhattan is, I guess, on the east side, and a little bit of the west side is, and part of Brooklyn is currently the district. So Senator Kavanaugh, who has been very busy chairing the Housing Committee at in the Senate. So I'm going to ask him to say a few words of greetings. Senator Kavanaugh.
It's really a great pleasure to be here. Thank you, Jenny, for your kind introduction, and Chung and Justin for all of your leadership. And I think Mrs. Key is also here, although I also can't see everybody, but for being such a wonderful leader. And to all of the honorees, so much has been said already of them and by them. And thank you, Daisy, also for speaking on behalf of the fellow honoree. But it really is, it's been such a wonderful time of this community coming together and taking care of each other in a very difficult time. So Daisy and Tanya and Winston and Henry, really thank you for your leadership, and these honors are richly deserved tonight. I also just want to note, John Liu, I don't know if he's still here, but he said something very nice about my legislative work. I will just note that as having the former controller of the city of New York in your Democratic conference while you're having budget negotiations can be incredibly useful.
And an actuary.
And a trained actuary and a pilot and a triathlete, and he's a man of many talents. But really, he has been a tremendous asset as we've sorted through some very difficult times, especially in the last few years. And our lieutenant governor, it's also great to have a colleague, Senate colleague, elevated now to statewide work in Brian Benjamin. But yeah, I'll be brief just to say, I think that there was a time in the fall when things were getting better, and UDO, we got back to having in-person events, and we were very excited to be back in the same space. And now, and I complimented you then for getting people together. And of course, we've now had this surge and we're back to doing things remotely, but it is great that UDO both continues to bring our community together and also to continue to do these things like carefully and safely. Things are getting better. We're moving in the right direction. I am looking forward to the continuation of the Lunar New Year celebrations. Hopefully, again, we can do everything in person, provided that COVID continues to be moving in the right direction. And it's also been, it's good, and it's been a great honor to serve this community through very, very difficult times, and to also see the beginnings of the renewal that is taking shape. Businesses beginning to reopen that have been closed. Some of the foot traffic coming back, although I know we're not nearly where we need to be there to be where we need to be. And we work very hard at the state level with my colleagues, including Senator New, who is here, to ensure that communities like this have the resources they need to allocate some of those funds that Congress members talking about earlier that come from the federal government, often through the state government, but also to do direct grants of assistance. We've had some legislation this past week in the Senate that's intended to improve the way small businesses give them some relief on payments of unemployment insurance, and while we're making sure we're covering the needs of the workers. But I stand ready to continue to work with all of you as we struggle back to ensuring the protection of this community, the vibrancy of this community. One of the things we've been working on recently is land trust legislation, which many in Chinatown have brought to us as a way of trying to really reshape the way land is controlled and managed, to allow it to continue to be controlled locally, managed for long-term affordability, but also to make some adjustments in the way it's taxed and managed. So we're working on that. And of course, just as generally in the housing area, continuing to make sure that our rental assistance programs are open. We've got a big fight in front of us to get the remaining funding that we need to for everybody's rent is paid in full who struggled during the pandemic, both so that tenants are relieved of those burdens, and also so the property owners get the money they need to maintain their buildings. And I would note that rental assistance program was closed for a couple of months, but it is back open. And to the extent somebody is struggling against eviction, applying to that program is the best protection people have, and that's because we added we added those protections through the state legislature to that program. But again, it's a night for celebration, it's a night for looking forward, and I will continue to work with all of you to do the best that I can for this community, representing you in Albany and also here in the community. So it's great to see everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Kavanaugh. Good to have you with us. I would like to next ask another senator who has been known to be the most prolific legislation drafter or sponsor in the Senate. So I would like to ask Senator Brad Hoylman to come and say a few words with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I have a very tired 4-year-old on my lap, but it's good to see everyone, you know, especially Mrs. Key and Chung and Jenny and Daisy and Yulene. You know, there's a trend going on here. Powerful women in this club is really a thing, and I really, really appreciate it. I know it makes folks like Denny and Justin and John, you know, yeah. But you know, it's time that we call it for what it is. Okay, thank you, Lucy. Anyhow, I just want to send greetings, and I also want to thank just on a note, Senator Kavanaugh for all of his efforts on housing, and as some woman knew, she and I had a bill signed last week that would require state websites be translated in the top 12 languages, and let us and you. Thank you, Lucy. Yulene can tell you who inspired that bill. It was Chung who told us to write that bill, right, Yulene?
Yes.
So we're glad we got it passed. This is a disaster, but hopefully the new year will not be.
We want to know her secret. We want to know her secret.
I want to. Okay, that's not a secret. Okay, good night.
Thank you very much, Senator, and
Thanks,
thank
Senator.
your daughter for us for allowing you to stay with us. Well, so of course we, you know, our community wouldn't be whole without all the great elected officials working for us. And among those who work so hard for our community and for the state of New York is our own Assemblywoman Yulene New.
I actually wanted to note that our borough president is here.
Yes,
he'll be speaking after.
Okay, I just didn't want him to be.
Thank you so much, Yulene, but please continue. Thank you. You're very nice.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here. Obviously, you know, this is a day where we're celebrating Daisy and Tanya and Henry and Winston. And I just have to say that, you know, it was really amazing to see when our government, our federal government, our state government, our city government really left us behind, that our community were the folks who stood up, our heroes were the ones who stood up. Daisy, even when she had gotten so ill herself, she had been, and the reason why she got ill was actually because she was out in the community helping, and then she got ill, and then she came back and still helped everybody, even at the risk of her own health. And I just have to say thank you so much for all of your efforts, Daisy. We've always worked side by side, and this has been a really difficult 2.5 years. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. And Tanya, you know, every single time we were talking, it was all about her building. Every single time it was all about her seniors, all about the residents in her building. And it didn't matter if it was what time it was. It didn't matter how you know, how small the needs were or how big the needs were. It was always Tanya who was willing to ask. And I think that, you know, that willingness to ask was something that's very, very special and something that's needed in our communities to be able to make sure that we can get what we need to folks. And Henry, like fighting side by side with you was like amazing. You know, you're an amazing, amazing person who's been a champion throughout. And we are so appreciative of your help, and you know, you're still going. So actually it's still going, the efforts are still going, and you're just continuing on and on and on. I can't tell you enough about how much your efforts are are meaningful for our community. And you know, Winston, you are an incredible champion, brother, and like I can't tell you how our community so appreciative of all of the meals you helped to make sure that our community got. And every single day when things got rough, when we were filling sanitizer or when we were folding pamphlets in my office to make sure people knew how to use the masks, etc. It didn't matter how late it was, you were always willing to help out. It didn't matter, when things were difficult or heavy, you were willing to carry that weight or make that extra mile. So, I can't say enough how amazing all of you are. But I also have to mention too that every single step of the way, Jenny, you were there with us. Chung, you were there with us. Justin, you were there with us. From day one, Justin was out there handing out masks with me. From day one, Chung was helping to get the troops organized. Like, I can text Chung at any moment, be like, hey, is the delivery for this thing coming here? Is this delivery gonna go there? And it didn't matter what time it was. She knew exactly what was on target. And Jenny, like, without you in your van, the nurses would have gotten nothing. So every single night we were out there at Mount Sinai, and like, I can't tell you how appreciative of I am. And I know it's your own event, so you can't give yourself awards, but I would give them to you guys for all of the work that you're doing. And this has been an incredible showing of community support. And I can't tell you enough of how lonely it felt when I was out there until my community was with me, right? Like, this is how amazing it is to have community. And this is the way that that we can complete ourselves. We can help ourselves out. And I think that this is where, I'm just gonna say that I'm incredibly honored to represent all of you. I'm incredibly honored to represent all of you, because I've seen how hard my district wants to fight for survival. We were able to bring in some money, but obviously it's not enough. We brought in 30 million for our small businesses. We brought in 10 million against anti-Asian hate crimes. We've done some things like pass the data desegregation bill finally, right? We were able to pass a language access bill that literally Chung on the phone was the idea giver for this, because she was just like, why isn't anything translated, Yulene? Like, we were having such a hard time making it so that we could help people apply for things. And it was such a basic fix and not a difficult bill at all, but one that was so necessary because it was overlooked. Right? Why is it that our websites weren't translated during this crisis? And so I just want to say thank you to all of you. You are the ideas, you are the inspiration, and you are the reason why I'm able to do the things that we're able to get for our communities. And I cannot do this work without you. So thank you so much for hosting, and thank you so much for honoring these amazing honorees, and thank you for doing the work in the community that is needing to be done.
Thank you, Eileen. I just also want to add that you were right there every step of the way. There were so many nights I used to make you. I used to make Jenny. I think Patrick's still on the call. When the three of you went out, late at night by yourselves, when no one was on the road. This is when nights there were no one, and the only ones were just the EMS going to hospitals, taking patients, and I would make you guys be on the phone and don't hang up, because I was just so afraid that something would happen to you. Yeah. And then you would deliver free meals to Mount Sinai ER, because there was just no restaurants that were open. They couldn't buy meals, even they had resources. There was just nothing open for them to have dinner. And so it was Patrick who made the dinners, you and Jenny who boxed them, and then you guys delivered them. I mean, so you were
Carlin too, yeah.
the way, and Carlin too, and every step of the way. So I the reason why we're giving honor to this group is I know we could have spent 2 hours really, and there would have been a lot more other people coming on, but I just want to mention that you were an integral part of it. So I'll give it back to Jenny. So thank you.
Thank you, Chung. So speaking of recognizing those who have been there day in and day out, I have the really honor and privilege of working with someone who really just gave everything to the community and continues to give. And I really look up to her as a role model for when I try to pitch in my share in the community. And I would like to help UDO recognize my big sister, Daisy Pius.
Hi, thank you so, so much. I'm unmuted. Yeah, I'm unmuted. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. I'm so excited to be to see so many beautiful faces and so much elected officials that are just amazing. I didn't prepare a speech. I didn't do like Tanya did. She did something well, but I'm going to speak from the heart. Okay, so I want to just say it's an honor to be in the same category, receiving an honor with Winston, Tanya, and Henry. They're amazing community people. UDO has welcomed me in a way that that it's a little more than family. Sometimes family doesn't even welcome you in, sometimes with a warm embrace, you know. So UDO welcomed me as family. And I would like to say that when I was going through my COVID situation, I learned what faith was, and I learned what resiliency was. And I learned that the hard way. But when I came out and I saw so many people doing the work for the community and showing resiliency, I felt like, hey, I'm not alone. I'm surrounded by a community of people who know what it is to feel resiliency, to feel faith, and to feel community sense in helping one another. So I am so honored and I am blessed. Whether I had a bad experience or not, it taught me something very, very beautiful. And it taught me that when you come together as a community, there's nothing that can hold you down. There's nothing that can hold you down. Community and people, love and peace is what builds, doesn't bring down. So I want to thank UDO so much. And everybody I work with. Jenny, you're an amazing sister. I mean, you and I have become so close, and Chung, from working with our foods and backpacks and whatever it is that we had to do to get to the people who was in need. Justin, you provides me with an amazing amount of children's masks. There's not a children in the Lower East Side here that if they don't have a mask, it's because Daisy hasn't seen them. I want to thank Justin, you for that. I want to thank Yulene for being there and always reaching out to see if I need anything. And all the elected official, Brian gives me so much mask, everybody. So it takes a village to raise a child, doesn't it, right? So it takes people like us to raise our entire community, you know, and to keep us safe. And I want to thank everybody. I appreciate everything that everybody on this evening contribute. We all contribute something. So I want to thank each and every one of you for whatever it is that you can contribute. And Virginia Key, I can't say how much more I love you. I love you so much. And like I said, thank you. Thank you so, so much. And I see that my girl, Debbie Cox, is on here somewhere. And for those who don't know, she works very closely with me. We create things together. So I want to thank Debbie also, because no one wins one of these alone. No one. It takes a community. So I want to thank you all. And I love you. God bless you.
Thank you, Daisy.
Thank you, Daisy. So I would like to, since we have Borough President Levine joining us, I would love to, I know he has a busy schedule, so I'm going to go right straight to our very new Borough President, Mark Levine. You know, he's been a council member for the Upper West Side, and he's done a fantastic job as a council member, and we know that we can expect so much more from him as a borough president. So Borough President Levine, please.
Thank you so much, Jenny. It's wonderful to see all of you here at UDO. Happy Lunar New Year. Great to see so many friends. A mi hermana, Daisy Páez, sabe que te quiero mucho. No se le puede decir más.
Te adoro.
Y yo a ti más. It's wonderful to see.
All that in Chinese.
Baigajo.
I don't speak Chinese, but.
It is wonderful to see a friend and partner and someone I actually consider a mentor, fellow district leader, Justin Yu, just treasure our partnership. And my goodness, to the esteemed and honorable Virginia Key, I just feel fortunate every time I can be in any gathering with you. Just grateful for all you have done and continue to do for our community. Chung, my buddy, awesome to see you as well. And to my buddy, Denny Salas, thank you for being a blast of positivity at all times. Great to see my great friend, Senator Kavanaugh. Also, this is our third Zoom in a row or something like that tonight. Busy night for us in Manhattan. I don't know if Assemblymember New is on, but my goodness, Yulene, your remarks before were so inspiring. I'm just grateful for the way you have led in the midst of this very difficult time. So I am in awe of the way that UDO exemplifies the power of women leading. Teams you always have and you continue to. And I think it's part of why you've been so impactful here in the community and continue to be really an important force for Chinatown and far beyond at a very, very difficult moment. The last 2 years for all of us have been difficult, but for Chinatown and the district you represent, it's been really a triple whammy, the public health crisis that we've all endured, the economic shock of the loss of tourism and in-person office work and the closure of so many beloved small businesses. But if that weren't enough, the parallel pandemic of Asian hate, which has been, unleashed really from the moment that I think Donald Trump took the national stage, but he really poured gasoline on the fire when this pandemic began by his disgusting association between what should have been treated as a crisis for all of us and his racist, xenophobic accusations against the Asian American community. Unfortunately, we're still paying a price for that. We're paying a price for it already in January. What a month this has been with the loss of Michelle Go. Many of us were together commemorating her passing. Though the attack was back in April, the loss very recently of another beloved community member in Mr. Yao Pan Ma. Many of us were together commemorating his life in East Harlem. I know that you were certainly there, Yulene, and I think many others were as well. I am sorry we have to keep doing this. I am sorry we have to keep coming together to mourn, but we are in the midst of a crisis and we need to confront it with everything we got, compassionately, not to revert to the mistakes of the Giuliani era, but to respond, treating this as the public health crisis that it is, to end this epidemic of violence and hate crimes. We can do this together, consistent with our values. And I'm really all in that effort with you, UDO, and many of the leaders who are here on the room. So thank you so much for having me. I'm really thrilled to partner with you on behalf of this community and all of Manhattan. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Borough President Levine. Great to see you here.
Thank you, Jenny.
So moving along our program, I would like to present our last but not least award to our fourth honoree. Henry Lee is an entrepreneur in our community. But when Winston told us that, hey, we have Boca providing culturally sensitive Asian food for the community, can you please go and make sure that you pick up the food from Boca on St. Mark's? That's where I met Henry. Henry went from being in packing food to lifting the boxes and help them load into my van and help me change the tire when I had a flat. So Henry, I so appreciate what you have done for the community, and now and the store, and they opened up in Chinatown and they continue to do that, and they actually took on the responsibility of collecting the food, of receiving the food from different restaurants, and then help us redistribute them. And on to then fast forward, having our own van, and he drives the van too. So Henry is such a good partner. And when we were doing vaccine, helping vaccine appointments, he was one of the sources that helped get lots of seniors and restaurant workers who couldn't get online to find appointments. And Henry was one of the major source of folks who needed the vaccine to continue working. So Henry Lee, please.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, UDO. Above all, thank you, Chung. Thank you, Jenny, for leading and guiding me for what we've been doing in our community. I live in Chinatown, and I see what many of you have done for the community I live in, and I greatly appreciate that. The small part I play, it couldn't have been done without Winston, paving the road and letting support and giving me an opportunity to help out. Everyone else that I have a chance to work with, I'm really grateful of that. Above all, my two older sisters that I would like to call, thank you, Chung, and thank you, Jenny. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Henry. I think that
Henry.
I think you're being very modest, and Henry, along with a group of others who are part of this team that we talked about, of Teddy Mui and Jeff Young, who are working, but also Patrick and Carl and others. I mean, we make up this community of supporters, and we rolled up our sleeves. So whatever needed to be done, whenever needed to be done, we were there. I think you heard Yulene said that, without Jenny supplying her van free, I mean, she never charged, not for her flat tire or a mile or gas or anything else, for 11 months. And that's just I think that the integrity of the people that are part of this club and the people that we want to acknowledge and recognize. So thank you to the honorees. Winston, you are still making marvels, and we can't wait till your next technology and next app to really solve hunger. We have a model that we've used, that hunger can't wait, because hunger just can't wait. We have to, no matter snow, weather, whatever the situation, we have to deliver these meals. And so it's upon us. But I think that what Winston is trying to do, which is significant, and I'm glad that Henry and myself are really helping in Winston crafting a mechanism where there's dignity also. We talked often about distributing meals, because it's important that we're not having seniors waiting for an hour outdoors in inclement weather waiting for their daily meals. We want to bring some dignity to this process. So I really want to thank you, Winston, for this. Daisy, my sister, man, you've been like the rock. I don't care, no matter the time, no matter the issue, you, Tanya, have been the rock. And I just want to say thank you to the two of you. So I want to just sort of wrap up to everybody. We've gone more than an hour, but I really want to appreciate all our friends and supporters who joined us. We had a lot more people who RSVP, but I know that they were just trying to also get to the grocery store. I got 4 texts about the grocery store before the snow comes. So people are anxious about that. But to close out, I again, thank you, everyone. UDO would not be able to keep the work that we're doing in registering voters, communicating, educating our voters, and raising the Asian American voters' voices if we're not for supporters supporting clubs like UDO and other local clubs. So I really appreciate it. If you drop the checks off, we'd be glad to receive them. I know Mrs. Key's looking forward to checking her mailbox. And then now we want to close. I want to bring Catherine back because she was extraordinary. So I just want to give everybody applause to Catherine. She's now going to perform a piece, a solo violin and looping pedal called Sitting With It. And it was written by a dear friend of Catherine's, Kalia van der Deer. I hope I said that right, Van der Veer. So Catherine? Thank you, Catherine. That was amazing. Thank you, everyone. Jenny, do you have some words to close?
Just say thank you. We couldn't be here tonight without all the support that each of you and those who are not able to be on Zoom continue to support the club. So thank you, thank you. Have a wonderful evening and happy Lunar New Year.
Happy and healthy New Year, everyone.
Justin, I see you on the 1st. I see you on the 1st.
Good to see you, Lan.
Thank
Love
you so
you.
much.
Bye.
Wonderful.
Happy New Year. Thank you,
Happy and healthy New
everybody.
Year, everyone.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Bye.